Finally getting a chance to take a video of myself shooting the Mossberg Maverick 88 20 gauge cruiser model that I built a while back. This was not the first time I took it out to the range. I had taken it out several weeks ago with a friend of mine, and I was having some weird issues with the trigger group. What was happening with the trigger was, after you would rack around into the chamber, you would pull the trigger and the hammer would fall halfway and catch, and then you pull the trigger again and the hammer would fall, but it did not always fall with enough force to actually allow the round to go off. After having that issue, I pulled the trigger group out of the gun and actually took the hammer out. And there are 2 notches on the hammer, but I think one of them is for the safety or some other mechanism. I took my Mossberg Maverick 88 12 gauge apart and saw the same thing on that trigger group, but I was not having that same issue with the hammer only falling halfway. So what I did was basically squirt a bunch of CLP all inside the trigger group and worked it back and forth about 50 or 60 times, and the issue went away. So I think what was happening, something inside the trigger group was gummy and it was causing it to stick where it would not fall quick enough and it would catch on that second groove on the hammer.
Think about how much so realistically, right, that target, with both targets, right, is the size of me. Right. Right? My shoulders is across that whole thing. So if you hit either one of those targets, you hit the person.
You should know. Oh, the one they call you gonna go that distance?
We didn't shoot a whole box of balls.
This range trip was much better. I had no more issues with the trigger. I did have a few times where if you watch closely, you can see that the rounds did not fully eject out of the chamber. And honestly, I think it was because I was short stroking it, because I don't have the stock pulled into my shoulder. When you're holding it like a pistol grip, sometimes you don't tend to put quite as much force on it as you would as if it was in your shoulder. But I'm still getting used to this. I really do enjoy shooting this. Honestly, a 12 gauge pistol grip shotgun is a little bit ridiculous. I'm not a wimp when it comes to recoil, but there is something to be said for having something that's comfortable to shoot rather than being macho and just saying, I can handle the recoil. I like shooting guns that are comfortable. I like shooting guns that are fun to shoot. And like I've said in some of my other videos, if it's not something I enjoy shooting and it's not something I shoot often, I'm probably eventually going to end out selling it. But in this particular case, this cruiser model 20 gauge shotgun is an absolute blast to shoot. Great for self-defense. I just need to practice with it more to make sure that I can stroke it hard enough to get the spent shell out and put a new one in the chamber. Again, this is why you go to the range and you practice with your guns. You never take a brand new gun out of the box and expect it to work 100% of the time. You always have to make sure it functions, and you have to make sure it's going to function with the ammo that you have in it for self-defense. So thank you for coming along with me on another range trip. Again, this is my Mossberg Maverick 88 cruiser model that I built, and it's just a lot of fun to shoot. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. God bless America. Make sure you support your 2A rights.